Hello again, everyone. I'm finally back. I am finally going to cover the voice module of the discord.py module. So I'm just going to get right into it. So basically, the first thing I'm going to show you guys, I already showed you how to do the install, and then I showed you the sample code. I'm going to build directly into the sample code. So if you watch my last video, just go to that same link and just basically copy and paste it in. It's actually, I'm going to be building inside of the music class just out of convenience and laziness, but you can make your own class and add your own commands. But basically how we're going to start is we're going to start like any of the other commands, and we're going to basically copy and paste this chunk. And so I'm just going to squeeze this in here. And so that's how you denote that something is a command. So you just basically take that code and you throw it in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do an asynchronous function. And this one is going to be focused on moving. And so since this is a class, we need to pass in self. And then what we're going to next pass in is the context variable, ctx, and that's going to store a bunch of different things. If you want the full list of that, you can look at the documentation. It tells you stuff like which server the message came from, who messaged it, all kinds of other stuff. It's got a huge list in there, so you're going to have to kind of poke around and see what it is. And then the next thing we're going to do, the goal with this function that I'm writing right now is to basically move a user from one channel to the other. This is just the most basic thing I could think of, so I'm just showing this. So basically you're going to pass in the member, and then what you have to do is this right here is basically a conversion where we're going to take the raw string, the member that they entered, and we're going to convert it to a discord.member object. So member is going to become the correct format for us to move them, because it can't just use their exact name. It needs to know like which person within the group, like who of these people is it actually. So then the next thing we're going to do is the channel, which is going to be the channel that we want to move them to. And that's going to be basically the same thing. We do this conversion using the colon and then discord.channel in order to convert it to the correct thing. And so after that, what we are going to do is there's a function that's basically already built for us called moveMember, and basically it takes two arguments. One of them is the member, the other is the channel. These are the two that we just grabbed from here, and we are going to pass that in. So I will go ahead and run this and show you how that works. So we see our bots online. We can just do @itconnected move. That's how you invoke the commands. And then we can say @magician, and then I will move myself to general. And you can see that I got moved to general. And so that's basically all you need to do a move command. Obviously, you kind of need to consider the implication of allowing this, because this means that anyone in your channel can move anyone. It gives them administrative privileges. So you might want to write in some check that says only people with these given permissions, or only you is probably the safest way to do it. But just one thing, just something to keep in mind, you don't want to be giving them permissions you don't want them to have. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste that again, and then we're going to do a fart function. And so it's going to do exactly what you would expect, it's going to go into whatever channel you tell it to, and it's going to make a fart sound. And so with this is actually basically copied directly out of the documentation. So if you want to read a little bit more about exactly what this is doing, then you can find that in there. I will have the link in the description. And so basically what I've done so far is we've opened up a connection to the voice channel. So what this line of code is going to do is it is going to actually connect to the channel that they said they wanted you to connect to, and then it is going to create FFmpeg player, which is basically this program which is gonna take your MP3 and turn it into a stream format that the Discord can actually handle. And I actually forgot to talk about this in the previous video, but you do need to go and download FFmpeg, and that should be relatively simple. You can just Google FFmpeg, download it for Windows or Linux or whatever system you're on. It's open source and it's available on pretty much anything. And then what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to put in the path to your file. And so what I've done is I just put fart.mp3 in my file along with anything else, but you can make this go to a different path if you want it to. And then after that, you have to do player.start in order to make it actually play the sound. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go into here, and I am going to cancel the previous build, and then Control B, and then I'm going to tell it to fart in general. Always a classic. Anyway, that's how you play an MP3 or WAV or pretty much any file format you could think of. You just do the create FFmpeg player, and then it will play that sound. So that is a pretty useful thing. And I was actually thinking it would be pretty interesting if you could make something where people could basically submit their own sound. So basically they link you to some sound that they've made, and then the bot will download it, and then they can replay it whenever they want. But you're kind of playing with fire, because that means that the bot is going to be downloading pretty much whatever they tell you to. So it is something that's probably possible, but I'm not going to be covering that today. And so now what we are going to do is we're going to do one more, and this one is going to be the big kahuna. This one is going to be how we make teams. And so, sorry, I'm messing around with my other monitor. So what we are going to do here is we are going to define a function that's make teams, and then it's going to be self again, context, and then size for the size of the team. And this time we're going to do a conversion again, and we're going to make sure it's an integer, and then we're going to do number, and we're going to make sure it's an integer, and then finally the colon. And so basically what this is saying is you're going to call the command by saying at your bot, and then you're going to say make teams, and then you're going to say basically what size of teams. So like say you want four people to a team, and you want 3 teams or something like that. That's how you're going to call the command. And so how we're going to start this one off is we're going to basically make a team list. Team list. So this is where we're going to gather all of the users. and then we're gonna basically send them a message that tells them what to do, like when to join, and basically just how to operate, because it's not 100% obvious what you need to do. Teams voice channel once teams are made. Not made. There we go. Okay. Then back to the beginning. And so we sent them a message basically saying what to do. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to tell them specifically how to join the team. Type join in order to join the team pool, or close teams to finalize teams. So basically what they're going to do is you invoke this command, and then everyone says join if they want to join the pool of teams, and then you say close teams if you don't have the number of people that you were expecting. So say if you had teams of size 4 and 3 of them, so you were expecting 12 people but then only 9 sign up, then basically what it's going to do is it's going to close out instead of just continuously waiting for more people to join. So you just type in close teams and it ends it. And so, like we said in this previous one, it says join the waiting room voice channel. And so you can just manually create a voice channel named waiting list, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function that will make a channel for us, because we're going to need this for the future too, because we want all of our different teams to be in different channels. So we're going to do like we did in the previous one, where we have our argument and its channel name, and we convert it to the discord.channel object. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take all of the channels from the context object, because the context object stores all of those. So basically this is saying find general, test, general, timeout, waiting room, team 1, team 1, 2, or team 2, and just put them into a variable for us to look at later. And so what we're going to do is iterate through all of these channels, and then we're going to check, is this channel, whoops, we're checking, is this channel a voice channel? And this is how we do the check. We look at the channel type and we compare it to our goal, which is Discord channel type voice. So then after that, what we're looking for is we're looking for duplicates. So what if this channel already exists? So we're going to do a string of the channel and then a string of the channel name. Have to use the double equal sign. And so basically what this is saying is, if the channel we're looking for is the same as the channel name that already exists, then we're going to just return true and end. We're not going to do anything because we already have that channel, so it doesn't matter. But if none of those cases are true, if we don't have a voice channel that already has that name, then we are going to do the operation to create a channel. And so what this is doing is it's taking in the argument. The first argument in the create channel function is basically which server you want it to be. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give it the context, and we're going to tell it, make this channel in the one that sent the message to start this whole command, if that makes any sense. And then after that, it's saying what channel name do you want, and we're going to say channel name, the one that was passed in to this argument, or to that function rather. And then what kind of channel do we want? We want a Discord channel type dot voice, because that's the kind of channel we want. And so here's our function in order to make a new channel. And so it's checking if there's already a duplicate of that, and it's going to make it if there is not. And so with that, what we are going to do is we're going to make sure that we have a waiting room beforehand. So basically what it's going to do is we made our function channel create. Channel create is going to check if there already exists a voice channel named waiting room, and if there is not, then it's going to make one. And then once it does that, it's going to send out a message that's saying join the waiting room, because we can only move you if you're in the waiting room. It can move you if you're in any voice channel, but it wants you in the waiting room and not just out of voice, because if you're not in the voice channel, then it can't move you. It can't pull you. It can't take one of these people and just add it to a voice channel. They need to already be in a voice channel. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to iterate through the number, which is the number of teams, and then it's going to create the names, and so if we look at what this is doing, this is taking our number, which is our number of teams, like I said before. So say there's four teams you want to make. It's gonna make, this is gonna be 0, 1, 2, 3. So then it's gonna make team names for team 1, team 0, but then we did +1, so it's gonna do team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4, and then it's gonna call the function, and it's going to pass in team name. So like we did before, it's going to check if there already exists a team 1. If there isn't, then it's going to make it. So it's going to do that for all of the teams that you could possibly want. So if you want 8 teams or something like that, it can make those really fast, and you don't have to manually sit here and type in team 1, team 2, team 3, whatever. And so now that we have the function, actually let me run that real quick, just to, because I never showed the channel create command. Have some error, invalid syntax. Let's double check this for a second. Where did it say the error was? If channel type, oh, double equals. And then we go over here and we do, let's do the make teams command. And let's say 2, 2. So this is saying teams of 2, 2 of them. And so what we're expecting it to do is we're expecting it to make a waiting room and then a team 1 and a team 2. And so I made the waiting room, team 1, team 2. And then we can type in join, but it's not going to do anything yet because we haven't made that command. So let's go ahead and make that command. And so what we're going to do is basically do this nifty thing. where we're going to iterate through number times size. So say we had, we want 4 teams of 3. That means we want 12 players to join. So what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through that, through the 12, and then what we're going to do is the wait for message function. And what this is going to do is basically it's just going to pause things until a message comes in. So this is how we're going to do the whole thing where they type in join and then it adds them to the team. And so once they type in join, they're going to become the variable team player. And so what wait for message does is it can check for certain things, but we have to write the function that does the check. So what we're going to do is we're saying the check is equal to team check. And so what we have to do is we have to come up here and we have to write the function team check. This one is not going to be asynchronous. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass in the message, and then it's going to be pretty simple. We're going to take that message and we're going to look at its contents by doing if message.content, and then we're going to check if it is equal to join or if the content is equal to close teams. And then this is going to be real simple. Then we're just going to return it. And so basically what this is doing is if the message is anything but join or close teams, then it's going to just ignore it. So it will just ignore any spam that's going on in your channel. It's not going to add random people to the teams unless they're typing in join or close teams. So basically it's going to return the message, and then we have to figure out what we want to do with that after. So then what we are going to do is we're going to do another little check, and we're going to say if team player dot content equals close teams, then break. And so what this is going to do is if they say close teams, then it's going to break out of this for loop. It's going to stop looking for people in the range of 12 or whatever you want. So it's going to break out of that early. And so the other case, if it's not closed teams, then we are going to add them to the list. But we only want to add them to the list if they haven't already been added to the list. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to say if the team player dot author, the person who sent that message from here. So team player is going to store the message, but it's also going to store who sent it. So we're going to use who sent it and add them to the list if they're not in the list. So we do that by let me see where to go. By just appending them to the list. So we just do team player dot author, and so that's going to add them to the list. But we also kind of want some little status update of saying the teams are filling up, here's how many there are, here's how many there are left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a message that says how many people have been put into the team and how many there are left. So what I'm going to do is players have been put into the team pool there are I'm going to explain this in a second because I need to walk you guys through the math. So I'm just going to type it first and then explain it right after. And so basically what I've done here is I said it's going to print out the number plus 1 because it's 0 indexed. So the first person who types in join is going to be responded with 1 players have been put into the team pool. There are the number times the size, which is the total number we're looking for, minus the player number, which for the first person is 0. We actually want that up to 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract another 1. So say we're looking for 12 players and 1 just joined, it's going to say 1 players have been put into the team pool. There are 11 spots left. So then we can have a little kind of reminder of how many people are left. Sorry about that, had a little interruption. I think I already covered this, but I'm going to just go over it again. I'm going to go with else await self.bot.say to send a message like we've done before. And we're going to say that user is already in the team list. And basically this is saying if they're not in the team list, then we're going to append them to the team list and we're going to send this message. If not, then we're going to just send a message that says that user is already there. So don't do that. And then after that, now that we have all of our team members added, because it's gonna iterate 12 times and just wait for the message until closed teams or until the teams fill up. So once the teams fill up or someone types in closed teams, then what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the teams, shuffle them, or take all of the players and then shuffle them. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to kind of round robin them into the teams, if that makes any sense. So it's kind of like we've got a list of 12 people and they're going in 4 teams. You're going to put the first person in team 1, next person in team 2, then team 3, then team 4, and then we're going to go all the way back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, as many times as you have people. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some basic check where we're comparing against the size of the teams. And basically what we're going to do, sorry if I didn't explain this forward loop, we're going to get the players out of the team list and we're going to use the enumerate function in order to give us a list of numbers beside that. So basically what is going to happen is it's going to count up along with the number of the players. And then what is going to happen is we are going to reset it to 0. I just realized this is wrong. I apologize for that. I'm gonna go work on that. So basically what it's doing now is it's counting up with the players, so it's gonna count up to 12, but we don't want it to count up to 12. We want it to basically count up to 4 multiple times or something like that. I will go work on that. I will be right back. Alright, back again. I figured out what I wanted to do. So basically we're going to iterate through the team list. So say there's 12 people. It's going to count up alongside the players' names. And so it's going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up to there. And then what it's going to do is it's going to make your team equal to I modulo size, which is the size of your teams. So if you're at 1, then 1 modulo size is going to be 1 left over, and it's going to go over here, and then it's going to go to team 2, which is what we want it to do. And then once it rolls over to 5, then it's going to do the same thing, where it's going to end up with team becoming 1, and then it's going to add you to team 2. And so the modulo operator is going to be exactly what we want. So, oops, I revealed my secrets. So we've got this team equals I modulo size, and then what we're going to do is we're going to make channel equal to discord.utils.get, and what this is doing is it's basically a function in order to find that channel within our server that we're looking at. So let me just type out some of this. So basically it's going to look through the server channels that we sent the message from, or that activated the command. This is Future Ryan coming in to point out one error I had before. I was an idiot and I made team, and then I never used it. I put I here and I used it for the rest of the video. So just for reference, I meant to put team here. Team goes here, not I. Make sure you put team in. Number function, which we're going to use right here, needs them to be objects. So what we're going to do is player channel, and this channel is this object we just pulled, and the player is the object we pulled from here, if you remember correctly. And so basically we've got everything all set up. I'm gonna run it, fingers crossed. Hang on, cancel build, retry that. We're going to go over here. We're going to try to make 2 teams of 2. Make teams. Oh boy. Hang on, let me close some instances of Python. I forgot to cancel build a couple times. Okay, we'll try this again. Okay, we're good to go. So it says join the waiting room voice channel so you can be moved to your teams. So I'm going to go to waiting room, and then I'm going to type in join, and then since I am forever alone, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close the teams early. And so what's going to happen is it's going to move me into team 1, the channel that it actually checked if it had created earlier. And it's going to move me into team 1 because I'm the only person. And what it's going to do is, if there were more people, it would look at team 1, team 2, and it would go, okay, you go here, and then next person goes there, and then next person goes there, and next person goes there. But since it's just me, it's just going to throw me into team 1. And so we have successfully moved me into team 1 and everyone else except for I'm the only person. So that is going to be it for this. There is plenty more you can do. There actually is this Discord API Discord channel, which has tons of people, tons and tons and tons of people for you to talk to if you have any questions. And then there is, of course, also mine, where we have amassed quite a few people. Looks like 32, 33-ish, which is really pretty cool. There's plenty of knowledgeable people over here in the general channel, and the mostly me in the test channel. But if you need any help, you can come here. You can come to the Discord API channel, and they are somewhat helpful. Most of what they do is link you to the documents. So you can see right here there is links to all the documents many times when you scroll through this thing. But if you need help, you can probably ask them some questions. You can ask me some questions. You can ask most people in here. Actually, a lot of the people in here have become pretty knowledgeable. So I think that is going to be it. I don't know what else is on the roadmap. I might be doing some machine learning stuff, some deep learning stuff, but I haven't made anything concrete yet. So I will have to kind of figure out what I'm doing. If you guys are interested in anything, let me know, and I will definitely look into it and try and make it a reality.